I used to think reading could save me. I'd imagine all the faraway places my books would take me. I put my nose to the books the way people put theirs to the grindstone. But it wasn't always like that. I hated reading when I was a kid, but my mom always insisted, dragging me to the library when I just wanted to play. She'd say, "Reading will save you someday. You'll get a good job. And besides, you're just as good as those white kids."
To tell this story truthfully, I've got to start way back to November 2018. The organization that I worked for was in the process of opening a brand new landmark building. And I was about to start my first day of the day hospital.
So, I did what she said. I studied when the other girls had their first kisses, first heartbreaks, first insert mistakes. I studied until the twilight slipped into the crack of dawn. I studied until my eyes were red and swollen and I just couldn't go on. I studied my way out of creeping adolescent lasciviousness because there was always a book in between me and every love interest. Didn't even need to leave room for Jesus. And it paid off. I was top of the class, a straight A student who came from nothing, beating the white kids who had everything. Their curled up thin lips pouting at my victory because how could the weird black kid who smells funny be smarter than me? We didn't have the money, but I had the brain, and my brain was going to save me someday.
I admitted to my doctor that I was having suicidal thoughts, and she asked if I would be okay to essentially, walk the few blocks to the Sheldon Schumer, where I spoke with an emergency nurse, and they decided that I needed to stay there for observation. And essentially, what had happened is it became real to me in a very visceral way that there was no way I could escape racism in my life. Every single facet of my life was impacted by racism. It just, something felt off, and I realized that off feeling was that reality of how I couldn't escape racism in any area of my life, whether it was navigating family dynamics, my workplace, my spiritual life, my artistic practice, and I felt like I couldn't escape. And my mind went to a place of, well, if I can't escape racism, I guess I can escape my life, period. And that got me on the I guess the downward spiral, so to speak.
Until the reality hit, You can't study your way out of this. Racism, sexism, and all the other isms that constrict and constrain as tight as the collars of the white boys who get promoted over me because, well, they just seem to fit. Or it was oh so close, but you just didn't cut it. Maybe next time. See, I don't need next time. I needed this time. Isn't that one of the tragedies of racism? All the shining potential of people like me left out to rot, like so much strange fruit. The pro-lifers like to talk about all the lost potential, the potential Einsteins or Mother Teresa's who could have cured AIDS or cancer, but they never have an answer for the cotton fields or the killing fields because it's their children who have the potential and not our own. So forgive me when I don't get excited when the little white boy with glasses asks politely for the science textbook by its ISBN. Knowing all the little black kids who can quote from that text who will be his subordinate someday, I mean, Einstein's coffee doesn't make it so.
Rewind that a few months earlier, in about I would say January 2018, around there, February 2018, I applied for a position as a supervisor at the organization I was employed with. And I wasn't really, at first I wasn't really that into it, you know. A colleague had encouraged me to apply and said we'd make a great supervisory team because they were hiring for 2 supervisory positions, and he encouraged me to apply. I didn't really think about it at all, and so I applied, put my name in the hat, and you know, I got the interview. And at that point I had to really think about why I wanted to be in, you know, a position of authority in my job, and I did reflect on that, and I realized one of the things that I'm passionate about in this life is empowering other people, particularly to, you know, what I call my life's vision, to tell our own stories from our own perspectives. And I realized that one of the things that really drives me forward in this life and keeps me going is helping other people to realize their potential. And it occurred to me that as a supervisor and being in a position of authority, that I could empower other people and help them to reach their potential. So I was really, really excited about this, and I felt that I was one of the best candidates being interviewed for the role. At that point in time, I had over 13 years of experience with the organization in various roles, and so I felt I had a strong application. I felt I interviewed very well. I went into the interview confidently, and I was pretty assured that I was one of the best contenders. And actually, one of the guys who was hired in that role, I saw him after his interview, and he was nearly in tears. And it was clear to me that he didn't do well in his interview, and I didn't think that my words would be prophetic at the time, but I told him, don't worry, I'm sure you did a great job. And like, here I am comforting this guy, and turns out him and another guy were the ones who got the job. It was a breaking point for me, because all the things that I had done in my life to that point were because I thought those were the things I needed to do to be successful in this society. I did all the right things. I went to university. I earned a first-class honors degree in anthropology. I have a BSc honors in anthropology. I've never been to jail, don't have a ticket of any kind. For most of my university years, I didn't touch drugs or alcohol. All I did was study. But I did the things that Black women are told to do in this society to be successful. And part of that for me was was suppressing who I am and suppressing my blackness. In the working, culture of Canada, there's a culture of whiteness, and so there really isn't room or space or understanding for anyone who does not operate within that culture. And I couldn't have done any more to have been the best candidate for that interview, but my fatal error is that I am a black woman and I was the wrong color and gender to be in a position of leadership and authority in that organization. I didn't fit their image of what a leader is. And it was a breaking point for me, because all of those things didn't matter in the end. And it hit me that I was never going to advance in that organization, regardless of my extensive years of service
And when I get angry at the injustice of it, they will dismiss me as yet another tired, angry, bitter black woman, eaten up by the system. Aren't you tired of being a loser, MelVee? Why can't you get ahead? It's so easy. All you have to do is work hard. Try hard. Study hard. 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 Tell me, how much harder do I need to work? How much harder do I need to try? And what more did I really learn from your systems but more sophisticated ways to despise myself? You're right. I'm tired, angry, and mad as ever. I've earned every axe I've got to grind, and I'm polishing them all to clear the obstacles you knocked into my path when you were trying to help. So little black kids with their bright smiles, big brains, and books don't have to.
It's almost surreal to me now to think how close I got to the edge, how I could easily not be here. And from my perspective, my only crime is being myself and being unapologetically myself. And that's something that I take great pride in. And after I got passed over for the promotion, I really started to think about my time there and see the writings on the wall in a lot of ways. And it was starting to become more and more clear to me how my struggles with trying to advance in the organization are really linked to larger societal issues, and that the organization had no capacity or interest whatsoever in addressing racism and looking at the ways that white supremacy and a culture of whiteness are fundamental to the functioning and the structure of the organization. I became more vocal after I was passed over for that promotion, because at that point I had nothing to lose. And so I started talking to supervisors and managers and really starting to challenge them on this stated mission and vision that we have. There is a serious disconnect in how can you actually serve communities that you have no representation in positions of leadership and authority, or virtually no BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, or people of color in positions where we can actually influence policy and make changes. How are those communities actually going to have their needs represented? They're not. and people didn't want to hear it. I had some of my colleagues, they thanked me for my courage and said that they had, thought of very similar things, and they didn't feel that they could speak out on it. And even hearing that was, impactful in some ways, but ultimately it wasn't enough. And with the pandemic, it occurred to me in a very visceral way that I didn't want to die in my line of service, that I didn't want to die for this organization.
See, I try not to listen to the sound of my heartbreak when I see little black kids now poring over their books. The pride shining in their almond eyes when they make out that word that had them stumbling. I always make extra time for them because I know very well this world won't be as kind. Reading won't save us, but maybe, just maybe, the enormity and audacity of our hope will.